session tonight, and we are going to have another educator from different part of the world tonight, as you know. As and tonight our guest is a senior English teacher at Volyn National University from Ukraine, Svitlana Batsmai. When she comes, we are going to start our live session with her. I'm waiting for her to join to the session. We have a lot of things to talk with Svitlana. Yeah, hello Svitlana. So let me invite you for the session. So accept it, please. I can see you. I've sent you the invitation. Maybe you can send me a request to join, Svitlana. I'll send you the invitation. You need to accept it. Mm-hmm. I sent you a request. Okay, you can send me, Svitlana. You can send me the invitation. There is a button. It says send request to join. I have sent you one more time. No, at the bottom it says send request to join. There is a camera button there. Ah, great.
So at last,
Hello.
hi,
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 Svitlana.
welcome.
It's great
It took me too
that
long to join your session. Sorry
it's
for
okay,
that.
no problem, Svitlana. It's okay. It's nice to see you. And
Nice to
so,
see you as
Svitlana,
well.
I know that we are all very busy, and I would like to say thank you very much for accepting my invitation and being here. It's great to have you in our teacher talk section today. All right.
Thanks
So,
for welcoming me. Thanks for hosting me. Yeah, it's my pleasure to participate
wonderful,
in your teacher talks.
wonderful.
You are
I
doing a
know.
great job.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, Svitlana. It's nice to hear this from you. Okay, so we are all very busy, and I don't want to take your time because I know that you are also very busy. So, are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Okay, let's get started then. So, can you tell us about yourself, please, and a bit about your experiences, Svetlana?
So hi everyone. My name is Svitlana Batsmai. I'm an English teacher and a teacher trainer from Ukraine. So, and we got acquainted with Volkan while being in the United States. To be quite precise, we got acquainted at the airport in San Diego, California, while participating in TESOL Access Exchange 2024 in March. So, a little bit about myself. I graduated from Volyn State University, the university where I work now as a senior teacher. And English was always my passion. And after graduating from the university, I started teaching English at school as a teacher of English and French, because French is my second language. Like my qualifications are
Mm-hmm.
English, French, and foreign literature as well. So, but I have never taught foreign literature, but I have been teaching English and French for 28 years already.
Wow.
So, as I mentioned, I started as a teacher. Then, some years later, I was appointed as school vice principal. And then I had the possibility to work as a college vice director. And I worked also as the main specialist at our regional department of education and science. And I even was the head of the educational department. And I was responsible, and I ran like 60 schools, 32 kindergartens, and 5 extracurricular schools. But you see, all the time I have been teaching English. So, and since 2015, I'm in professional development because I have been working as the methodologist at Volyn in Service Teachers Training Institute. Now, I have changed my position a little bit because you see, I still do remember there was one of the authorities here in Ukraine, like, if you work too much at the same position, you get bored. Yeah, so I can't say that I get bored, but I'm making my career, to be honest.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Svitlana. All right, so Svetlana, and what was or were your turning point or points in your own education?
You see, I'd like to start with the fact that my mom is a teacher of English and French as well. And she was and she is still my greatest influencer, to be honest.
Wonderful.
And I suppose these are the people who surround us, who influence us a lot. When I was in the kindergarten, I dreamt of becoming a kindergarten teacher. When I was at the primary school, I wanted to be a primary teacher because you see, the first teacher is like the first love.
Of course.
And then when I went to secondary school, I participated in many different competitions in different subjects. And like, you see, there was like a fight between my mom's and my dad's genes because my mom is a teacher of English and French, and my dad was a forester. Ukraine is really a forestry country. And like, I wanted to be a teacher of biology and a teacher of foreign languages. And
Oh,
you see, my mom told me, you see, if you become a teacher of biology, you will plant the plants all the time. You will work with your students on the school plots, on the flower
yeah.
beds, but teaching foreign languages will be always in demand. And like the main turning point was the participation in all Ukrainian Olympiad. I still do remember I was in the ninth grade. And I won the school Olympiad, the
Wow.
district Olympiad, the regional Olympiad. And when I participated in all Ukrainian Olympiad, and I was great at it, so I understood that like foreign languages were my strong point, and I decided to become a teacher of English and French. Yeah.
Nice, very nice, very interesting story. Great, really, Svetlana. All right. Would you like to say anything else?
So I suppose that's it. These
Oh,
were
okay, you did it.
there.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay, wonderful. Thank you for sharing your turning points with us, Svitlana. Okay, and I'm sure that you have been teaching for a long time actually. We talked this with you, and in this your the teaching career probably you have tried different techniques, different methodologies, different strategies in your lessons with your students, or maybe you try to teach your colleagues about it, and probably you have a philosophy of teaching. What is it? What is your philosophy of teaching, Svetlana?
Oh, what a good question, Volkan, to be honest.
Welcome.
You see, uh, for me, like teaching is based on three kinds of love. The first is love for children. You need to love children to be a teacher.
Exactly.
Uh, the
Mhm.
second, the second kind of love is love for your profession. If you are still in this profession, it means you love what you do. And the third kind of love is love for your subject, the subject you teach. In our case, this is love for English. And it seems to me that if the teacher loves his or her subject, the students will love for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And one more thing, yes, like vice versa. If students love the teacher, they will love the subject that they teach. So, and everything starts with love. Then, like the next thing I'd like to point out is rapport or building the positive atmosphere in the classroom. There should be this relationship of trust and respect in the classroom. And you see, I teach university students and school students as well, and I teach teachers. Yeah. So, and I usually treat my school students, my university students as adults. Yes, I do really respect their point of view, their desires, and their wishes, and we know a lot about each other. It's always important. Yeah, so like I'd like to say that we need to follow the routines, yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
students usually respect the teachers who started the lessons on time and finish the lessons on time, yeah. So, and like we shouldn't avoid these ice breaking activities, warming up activities, yeah, like to
Mm-hmm.
establish this atmosphere in the classroom. And like another thing I'd like to point out is to set the goals. Yeah, so a
Uh-huh.
teacher and students should have a clear picture of what they teach and what they learn. Yes, like the whole clear picture of the topic and a clear picture of the lesson itself. So
Mm.
this is why I usually start my lessons with the topic. So with warming up
Mm-hmm.
activities, with topic and goals, what we have to achieve by the end of the lesson. So this is why by the end of the lesson, my students can assess themselves whether they have achieved their goals or they haven't yet where they are in their learning process. And some more things to consider, like instructions, given instructions. I usually point this in that keep instructions short and simple.
Uh-huh.
And you see, even if I speak Ukrainian, some of my friends say that I speak Ukrainian as I speak English, like very precisely, yes, shortly, and that's it. And
Very nice.
yeah, and I like asking questions, and I encourage my students to ask questions because you see, there is even a joke. Nobody knows about me so much as my English teacher. And so, because we usually ask questions, that's why I encourage my students to ask their questions. And you see, they
Exactly.
love it.
Mm-hmm.
At first, they were afraid because they used to answer the questions, yeah. So, but now they like asking the questions, especially some particular question about teacher's life or something like that.
Definitely.
So, and like to finish with, like, I'd like to say that my smile is my like business card, yeah.
Yeah,
So, and there
nice.
is
Exactly.
another good saying, yeah. So there are two ways to avoid conflicts:
Mm-hmm.
silence and smile. Yes, keep silent if you don't want to create conflicts, and keep smiling if you want to solve the conflicts.
It's very nice, very nice. Thank you, Svetlana, for sharing your philosophy of teaching with us. We are educators, and in our lives there are some, the moments that we have, the actually we have a lot of stories as an educator, and some good stories, some bad stories, some failed, and some success stories we have in our career when we look at it. So, can you tell us one or maybe two success stories of yours, something inspirational if you have it.
So yeah, really, every teacher has a lot of stories, and I'm really glad when my students succeed, and a lot of my a lot of school leavers have become English teachers, and I suppose these are success stories. But I'd like to give several
Sure.
examples, what to do and what not to do. And like my motto is never give up. I still do remember the story of my
Great.
mom's brother. You see, my mom is from twins, and her brother wanted to become an interpreter. Nowadays, it's very popular in Ukraine to learn English. Yes, so English is so popular. Foreign languages are very popular. But it was like in the 60s or 70s of the last century. Yes, and it was an unusual decision. And he really wanted to be an interpreter. And when he was leaving school, like in the 10th grade, at that time, his English teacher gave him poor mark. And you see, he has changed his mind completely. So he didn't become an interpreter. He became a forester. Thanks to him, my mom got acquainted with my dad. But you see, one mark, one just attitude of the teacher changed his life completely. So I'd like to encourage all those teachers who listen to our talk or who will listen to our talk, be very attentive while giving marks, because this is really our weapon. And
Exactly.
one more one more story of my life. You see, when I was a school teacher and school vice principal at that time, the authority came to our school. Yeah, and I supposed myself to be a very progressive English teacher. I started using authentic textbooks, in spite of the fact that there were a lot of national authors, like Ukrainians, who wrote English textbooks. And I started using authentic textbooks. And I still do remember that moment when one of the authorities came to my lesson just during the lesson, and she criticized me in front of the class.
Oh,
I suppose you can't imagine, but I burst into tears. I couldn't expect such attitude.
wow.
And at that time, I decided to leave school. Those teachers who continued teaching my students, like, were really shocked too, because all of
Of
my students
course.
so all of my students could read, speak, and write English, and they were really surprised. And I couldn't imagine at that time that it could be something else. But you see, it was really a turning point. I left school and I decided to make my career. And maybe because of that situation, I have become a teacher trainer. Yes, because I don't
Exactly.
want to follow her, and I want to be a good teacher trainer and a good teacher educator.
Wonderful. Good decision, Svitlana. I'm happy for you that about it. You decided something really good. Okay, thank you very much for sharing your stories with us, which are really important and the memorable stories that you still remember and share with us. Thank you. Okay, so we are, when you think about your English language teachers, and we as a teachers, we should have some qualities and skills, okay, to become successful. And for you, what are the most qualities, these important qualities and skills, as successful, let's say, English language teachers should possess?
First of all, I'd like to say that for me, like, English teachers are the most progressive ones. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to offend the other teachers, yes, but we have to be on the mood, yes, and on the tune all the time. So that's why I suppose the main thing is really staying positive, and those three kinds of love I shared
Mm-hmm.
already. And of course, you have to know your subject perfectly. But there are teachers who know the subject, but they can't
Ah,
explain, they can't teach. So you have to combine both, like the knowledge of the subject and the knowledge
mm-hmm.
of methods and techniques, how to deliver it to students. So it's very important.
I see.
And of course, you need to be a good psychologist as well, especially in these turbulent, difficult times we live in.
I got it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's really important. These qualities are really important. I want to ask you another questions. So how is the education situation in Ukraine right now, and the language education too, of course? Can you tell us about it a little bit?
Yeah, sure. You see, like the whole process of education takes 11 years in Ukraine now. Yes, our students go to school when they are 6 years old, and they leave school when they are 17. Like grades from 1 to 4 are primary school, then from 5 to 9 middle school, and after middle school they can go to the profession, to the vocational school, or they
Hmm.
continue studying at school, at high school, and like grades 10 and 11 are preparation grades for higher education. And after school, they take several tests. And these are like living tests and entering to the university tests.
Hmm.
So, and you
I
see
see.
that this year, yeah, like this year, Ukrainian language, history of Ukraine, and maths are obligatory. And most of the students choose English as the compulsory subject because
Compulsory.
it
I
opens,
see.
yeah, so like yeah, so and English opens the world to them. And we start teaching English in the first grade.
Mm-hmm.
And in the first grade, just from the beginning of the school, yes, and we have like 2 hours of English per week. But starting from the second
Two
grade,
hours.
we have
I see.
3 hours, 2 hours in the
Mm-hmm.
first grade only. And then starting from the second grade, we have like 3 hours or even more hours of English.
I see.
And mostly we start learning English in the primary school.
Mm-hmm.
But when the students go to middle school, they start studying the second foreign language. And it can be either German, French, or Polish. As Ukraine
Oh, I
borders on
see.
Poland, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Polish is very popular in our country, or it can be Spanish. And I'd like to say that Spanish becomes more and more popular, especially among
Spanish.
university students. Yeah, so like
Oh,
my university students, they learn English, French, and they have decided to choose Spanish as their third language at the university.
interesting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you see, and yeah, you know that there is a war in Ukraine, and this is why it's very difficult to teach and to study. And you see that today there were 3 air raid attacks. So I went to the shelter with my university students for 3 times. It's easier with university students. It's much more difficult with school students. But you
I
see, as soon
see.
as we hear the alarm, we have to go to the shelter if we have face-to-face teaching and studying. Those schools who are at dangerous territories, they mostly study online. Yeah, so and that's why we stop the lesson as soon as we hear the alarm if it is an online lesson.
I got it.
So
I see.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so it's really very difficult. That's why the topic trauma-informed design and education was very
Mm-hmm.
important and rather urgent for me while
Got it.
participating in the exchange
I
program.
see. Thank you. Thank you very much, Svitlana, for sharing the situation with us. Okay, and you know what? We are teachers, and sometimes we sometimes think that what is our motivation to go to school today? Okay, so but it's not only for our the being a teacher. It's for most of the jobs the same probably. Sometimes we think that okay, what is my motivation to go to work or to go to school or to go to my job or whatever? And when you think about yourself, you go to school every day,
Yeah.
and in this case, what is your biggest motivation to go to school every day?
I don't know whether you'll believe me or not, but these are the people whom I teach. These are
Mm-hmm.
really my
Nice.
students. I really adore them. Yeah, so like my university students, my school students, and I adore English teachers. I'm really in love with them because they are great and they are really inspiring and motivating. They motivate me to go to work, to learn something new, and to bring it to the classroom.
I see.
So it's nice to have the people who are waiting, who are looking forward to see you every day. And you see, like my family members, I like my children. I have a mother of 3 children. They are already adults. And my husband, they encourage me, you see, you work too much. You have to leave either school or university or start working at the in service teachers training institute. But you see, I can't leave it because I love
Uh-huh.
all of them. Yeah. So I have to quit something, yeah. So because it's really very difficult to combine three kinds of job and three categories of students, as I say. Yeah.
I
So, but
see.
I do
I
love
got
them.
it. I got it. Uh-huh. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Svitlana. It's really great for hearing your motivations from you to go to school. All right, thank you. And Svitlana, we know that you have attended this TESOL exchange program this year, and probably you had a wonderful moments over there. And we were together there, as we know. And so when you think about that, okay, and what was the best takeaway from there for you, that TESOL exchange program?
Uh, yeah. So you see, the whole exchange program, to be honest, was the takeaway. Yeah. So it seems like I have been sharing the insights from participating in that
Uh-huh.
program for a month and a half, as I work at the Teachers Training Institute. Yeah, so like I shared the ideas with English teachers, with school authorities, yeah, so with kindergarten authorities, with other teachers. I participated at several conferences already, yes, within this month and a half. Yeah, so like the first thing I really admire was our fantastic group. Yeah, so everyone has done great job to be a part of that team. Yeah, so
Exactly.
and I'd like to say that it's not enough to be a teacher of English. You have to be a good teacher of English, and you have to be a very active teacher of English to be noticed and to be nominated, because that was the program you couldn't apply for.
Exactly.
That was the program you were to be nominated for. So there I have got a lot of insights. I can speak and speak for a long time, to be honest. Yes, in
It's
spite
your
of the
turn.
fact
It's
that,
your time. Take your
yeah,
time, of course.
yeah,
No problem.
yeah. So in spite of the fact it's late, yeah. So and like politeness. The next thing I'd like to mention politeness from every member of the team and of the Americans of the American society. Yes, I couldn't hear anybody being rude there, and what I was impressed by, like, so it was at the time of breaking stereotypes, yeah. So, and of course, all of us knew about those small talks, but we enjoyed those small talks, yes, either in the
Definitely.
lobby or in the lift, yeah. So there are really small talks for
Yeah.
being polite with everybody, with people even you don't know. Then it's really clean everywhere. Yeah, we attended a lot of schools, universities, and I couldn't see
Uh-huh.
rubbish anywhere. And like a good saying comes to my mind that it is clean where they don't put rubbish in the street. Yes, not where they clean everything.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I have brought a lot of takeaways from attending schools. One more thing I'd like to point out is really parents' involvement. Because you see, sometimes the parents think that, okay, our child is of school age, he or she goes to school and teachers are responsible for their
Mm-hmm.
education. But I saw in American schools that parents are more responsible for their kids' education than teachers. Yes, they are active
Definitely.
participants of the school life, and like I, I did like the idea of that Barry Logan
Yeah.
College Institute. Yes, that
Great place.
the pair,
Exactly.
yeah, so it was the first educational establishment we visited, yes. Maybe that's why we
Uh-huh.
were so much impressed. Like, but every parent has to spend at least 30 hours an academic year for school, yes, in order his or her child should be educated at that school. So like it's
Definitely.
not only about attending parents' meetings or parents' evenings,
30
yes.
hours
This is
is
about
not.
attend,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so like these are workshops for parents and workshops organized by parents. Yes, participation at the reception, at organizing snacks for students, at field trips and visits to colleges and universities. So that was the thing that I was really impressed. And
Definitely.
I suppose you still do remember me asking students, yes, what do you like the most about your schools? And I adored their sincerity, to be honest. Yeah, like I still do remember one girl who mentioned that their learning is closely connected with real life. I still do remember the boy running along the hall who asked that girl what is your height? Yeah, we were surprised, yes. And they were doing a project, and their math teacher asked them to know the height of every student in their classroom and to organize it into a scheme, into a diagram. Yeah, so really like knowledge connected to practical life. And another girl who was our guide around the school answered we do appreciate that teachers respect us, respect our rights, they respect our learning styles. So we can learn how we like to learn. And I still do remember when we could come into the classroom, there was the project, I suppose, in chemistry, so in science, and there were different groups of students. So some students were in front of the computer, they were looking for the information
Exactly.
on the internet. Yeah, so some students were sitting on the rug and they were drawing a poster. And some students were sitting at their desks, they were looking for the information in their textbooks. So everyone is quite different. Yes, everyone has their unique learning style. And they do appreciate it and they give them freedom. You have to learn this topic, and this is your choice how you do it.
I
And
got it.
like one more thing, I'm really impressed. This is how they approach the career development.
Oh,
It looks like they start talking about career, about job in the primary year. So they have different workshops, and like they mentioned, like at different schools that in the primary school they have workshops on social and emotional learning. Yes, they teach
yes.
students to understand their emotions and to manage their emotions and understand how to build relationship with others. Then, like in the middle school, they develop their leadership skills and their community service. So to be helpful for the community, not only to be helpful for yourself or for your family,
Definitely.
but but to serve the community. And they have a particular subject at school, as far as I remember. And like a
Got it.
high school is really dedicated to the choice of the profession, and they have career advisors at schools, and they speak a lot to students about different colleges and universities, and they attend those colleges and universities before entering them. And they really encourage their high school students to enter colleges or universities. And they teach them everything, like how to apply, how to fill in the documents, the application form, how to participate at the interview. And you see
Great
here in
points.
our country, so mostly families are responsible for doing that. But I suppose this should be a common responsibility of school and of parents as well. Yes, because this is one of the biggest
Exactly.
choices we have to choose the profession you that suits you the most and the best.
Definitely. I totally agree. Wow, by the way, you have taken there a lot of things, Svitlana.
And I'm
Yeah.
sharing and sharing, you
Yeah,
see. Yeah.
sharing a lot of stuff. Thank you. Thank you very much, Svetlana. All right. So, Svetlana, you know that there are a lot of new teachers around of us, and they would like to become an English teachers and to continue their career as a English language teachers. As an experienced teacher, what advice would you give to new or aspiring English language teachers who are just, starting their teaching careers?
The first advice I'd like to give, like, live and learn. Because sometimes it
Mm-hmm.
seems that when we graduate from the university, we know everything. Yeah, because we have learned a lot of different disciplines at the university, and we are already ready, well prepared English teachers. But my first advice is live and learn. Yes, as much
Live
as you
and
can.
learn. Mm-hmm. Very
And
good
I still do
advice.
remember me being a new teacher. I asked my colleagues whether I could attend their lessons. And you see, I attended as many lessons as I could. And these were like English lessons, other subjects lessons, yes. So I learned from every of my colleagues at school. So that's why don't worry and don't be too shy. Yes, you have to learn from others. And choose a mentor. It's very important to have a good mentor while becoming a good teacher. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd like to share a tip I used when I was a new teacher. I made video recordings of my lessons, and then I watched them. and I could see where my mistakes were. For example, I noticed me talking too much at the lesson. Yes, so and then I stopped. Yes, I have to give the floor to students because I know for sure that the lesson is for students.
I see.
And I was given some advice in the training, like the trainer works before the trainee, but the trainees work at the training. And we can paraphrase this for students. Yes, the teacher works before the lesson, but the students have to work at the lesson. Their lesson is really for students.
I got it. Wonderful. Thank you very much for the advice, Svetlana. There are great advice for them, for the new beginners, aspiring teachers. Great. So, Svetlana, so the time flies and the years passes, and I don't know if you will, the continue your job being a teacher like in after 10 years or not. So, but I just want to say that how do you see yourself in 10 years? Will you still be a teacher or trainer, or will you try another job? What is your idea?
You see, here in Ukraine, we have a saying, if you want to make the God laugh, tell him about your plans. So yeah, so I can't be really precise and specific here, but if to consider my working career, you can understand that for sure I will choose the position I occupy now, but
I
for
got it.
sure I will be connected with English, for sure.
Hmm. You will be. Thank you. Thank you very much. And also, Svetlana, move to the next question. By the way, a couple questions left, and the time flies. I just mentioned, that there are some, the difficult times in our lives, and when we face that difficult times, and we say, "Oh, I wish I could that power and superpower, so I could do this easily," or I wish could have this power, so superpower, and I could, solve my problem easily. But when you think about this into your classroom, if you could have one superpower to use in the classroom, what would it be, and how would it help you?
You see, we teachers have a lot of superpowers, I'm sure about it. And if I had one superpower, you won't believe, but it would be the ability to stop the war.
I
Because you
see.
see, it influences our life and our studies a lot. Because as soon as my students hear the noise of the plane, they
I
start
see.
calming themselves. There was no alarm. That's why this is our Ukrainian plane. It's okay. Yeah. So, of course, if I could, I would stop the war because this is the most dangerous thing in our life. And I still do remember my granny. When she was a child, there was the Second World War. And my granny always repeated, yes, you are lucky that you don't know what the war is. Now we are not lucky enough. And if to speak about English, if I had a superpower that all my students know English as I know and love English as I love, so I would like to put that knowledge and that love into their hearts, souls, and brains.
Very nice superpowers. Thank you very much, Svetlana. Okay, Svetlana, I think that we finish the interview and you step outside your home and find the lottery tickets that ends up winning like $100 million. What would you do? Be honest.
So, you see, if it were a peaceful time in Ukraine, I would say that I would open my own language school because
Very
foreign languages
nice.
are very popular in Ukraine, and learning foreign languages is very popular as
Wonderful.
well. And of course, I would travel around the world because I adore traveling to new places. Yeah. So and
You
there are still
should.
so many of them undiscovered by me and by you as well. But you see, if so, I can't but think about it. But during the time of the war, I will donate that money over
Ah,
yeah, $100 million to our army because you see, we donate all the time. I would buy some drones, some cars, or even some equipment for our soldiers.
mhm.
And after the war, I would give those money for sure, that money for sure to rebuild some schools because a lot of
Exactly.
schools, a lot of buildings are ruined or damaged all around Ukraine.
Hmm.
So this is a really difficult situation. I still do
I
remember
see.
some of our some of our group participants mentioned while being in the USA, you see, Svitlana, when you smile, nobody can believe that there is war in Ukraine. It's difficult to think, it's difficult to live here, but nevertheless, smile and positiveness help us to survive here.
I know. Be positive always, Svitlana. Be positive. Okay,
I will
Svitlana. And now, by the way, I just mentioned that time flies, and now I'm gonna ask you my last question. All right? Are you ready for it?
Sure.
Okay, so here is the question. What is your motto?
I do really love the words of Confucius, and he once said, like, choose a job you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life. And as far as I remember, Steve Jobs paraphrased him a little bit, and he mentioned that the only way to do great work is to love what you do. And I paraphrase them both. Yeah, I paraphrase them both. Like, do what you love and love what you do. This is really my life and profession motto.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much, Svitlana. And Svitlana, there is a question, and one of our, the audience is asking. The question is, what do you think about the power of AI in your classes?
A good question, and thanks for asking it. You see, when we participated at TESOL Convention 2024, I noticed that like 40% of all the sessions were about AI in education and AI in teaching English.
Definitely, yeah, it was.
And here we can look at advantages and disadvantages of using AI. Nowadays, I see more advantages than disadvantages. If your students can use AI, it means they are good enough at technologies, yes? And I even suggest English teachers to use AI while planning their lessons. Of course, creative English teachers, and your channel is called Creative English, can create wonderful lesson plans. But if you are tired as we are now, yes, so just ask AI and it will help you to create your lesson plan, yes, to create a quiz for your students or create a test. So it's a wonderful tool and we should use it, yeah. So, but of course, nothing can change a teacher in the classroom.
Definitely,
even AI.
I totally agree. Yeah, even AI, you are right. You're definitely right, Svitlana. Thank you very much, Svitlana. Okay, and before ending our live session, Svitlana, would you like to add anything else?
It was really my pleasure to meet with both Ukrainian and Turkish people and the Ukrainian and Turkish English teachers. Yes, so and I'd like to say once more to repeat that you are doing a great job because you are spreading the knowledge, you are spreading the ideas you have with other teachers. Yes, and like sharing is caring. Yes, the more we share, the more we get.
Definitely.
So that's it. Keep doing, Volkan.
Thank you very much, Svitlana. Okay, so I would like to say one more time, thank you very much, Svitlana, to being with us here, Teacher Talk 159th section, and thank you very much again for your suggestions, for your, the advice, and especially you spend your time here. Thank you for your time, spending your time here. Okay, Svitlana, great. And Svitlana Batsmai was with us tonight in Teacher Talk 159th here. And we had a fruitful session with her, and we discussed a lot of interesting topics with her. If you would like to watch it, you can rewatch the video recording later. Okay, so as you know that we are going to be here next week on the same day at the same time every week on Monday at 9 p.m. we are going to be here. And until the next time, please, wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody. And take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, Svitlana. And bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye, Svitlana.
Bye.
And bye-bye, audiences.
Bye.
Peace, everybody.
It was my pleasure to meet you, to see you here. Bye.
Bye.